Hello and welcome to Webpack Wednesdays. I'm Martin Dewey.
I'm Martin Kern.
And today we're going to be talking about
Azure Deployment.
Azure Deployment.
Yeah, well not the whole of Azure.
Yeah. How
That's
Azure?
we've already deployed Azure.
Okay.
Deploying to Azure.
Deploying to Azure.
Specifically deploying to the Azure Web App Service.
Okay. Right.
So this idea of taking a web application, we're going to use ASP.NET, but it doesn't matter what we use.
Yep.
And just look at the different ways that you can get stuff onto Azure.
Okay.
So we're going to start off in the Azure portal, which is what I'm in right here, and we're just going to create a web app. So we go to New, Web and Mobile, and Web App. So this is basically, this is kind of the thing we deploy to. So this is our kind of administration container for our application, basically.
Yeah.
We can give this a name. I'm going to use the word Fibble, just because it's a funny word and it's unique. So there we go.
Does it mean anything?
No, it's just something, you know, like when you're writing code, everyone has like a word they use to test stuff.
Foo.
Foo is one.
Jeff is what I use.
Jeff is your one.
Yeah.
Fibble's my one.
Right, Fibble. Okay.
I also use Fobble.
Fobble.
And sometimes Foo. So I can say Fibble, Fobble, Foo.
No, I like it.
So we're going to do that. We're going to create a resource group. A resource group is it's kind of like a bucket for containing a group of resources.
A group of Fibbles.
A group of Fibbles, yes. So this web app's going to go in a resource group, and we also have a thing called an app service plan. So this is basically the billing model for the service, basically. So we're going to do that as North Europe, which is our local data center for now. Oh, I've already done a resource group called Fibble, so let's just use that instead. There we go. And click Create. So this is going to create the web application for us. Takes about 1 or 2 minutes to actually do that.
Resource groups are quite useful because you can put lots of different apps together,
yeah,
which are bucketed together. But then if you want to delete them, you can delete them all from the resource group.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I often do that. If I'm doing a demo,
yeah,
I'll build all of the different infrastructure and websites and mobile app services and things like that, and put them all under that same resources group, and then just delete the resource group at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It does that thing about typing in the name to make sure that you don't delete it by accident.
Yeah.
But you just type in the name.
Well, I've got this. There's a blog post on my blog called Disaster.
Yeah.
And that was when I deleted a production database.
And you just typed in the name.
Yeah, no, and it did. It asked me. It said, like, are you sure you want to delete it?
Yeah.
To clarify that you definitely want to delete this, please type in the name of this SQL database. And I was like, yes, I definitely wanted to delete it. Deleted it, typed in the name of the database, then pressed delete, and then like almost immediately went, oh no, that's a production one. Anyway, so apparently it does say that's dead. It's not going to be restorable. Like I hadn't paid for any backups. Like nowadays, you can also pay for all the backups and all that stuff, but I hadn't paid for any of that. I thought it was completely lost, but I contacted Azure support and they recovered it for me.
There you go.
I know, it was good. It was a good times, but it wasn't an absolute disaster. That was a database. I didn't even have any backup copies of it or anything. And it was running an old website that I used to
it's deployed. So we've got a green tick,
Yep.
which is always a good sign. It means that things worked, and you can see that that's now the active, if I zoom in here, that's now the active version of the website. If we look at the browser there, we can see that's been refreshed, and we can see that the site has in fact been deployed straight from GitHub. So that's cool. So every time I do a commit now in GitHub, that's going to happen automatically.
Right.
So let's do that. Let's go to Visual Studio. Now, it says that our next event is in Birmingham on the 19th. Okay, that's committed. We can see Bandstand is now the active version of the site. So let's go.
You knew that long,
Droitwich Shire Bandstand 20th of May. So that's good. So we've got a busy few days there. We're going to go to Birmingham on the 19th, and then we're going to go to Droitwich on the 20th.
Just to clarify, we are not going to Droitwich.
No,
on the 20th.
really
if anyone is looking at Droitwich,
we're not going to go. I'm going to make this happen.
I think you need a license for the bandstand.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I'm like that with the council. We'll make it happen.
I've got a feeling this is actually going to happen, isn't it?
It is going to happen. Well, just to put your fears to one side, we're going to say we're not really going to go to Droitwich.
Okay.
And let's try and revert those changes.
Oh, that's a good idea, I think.
You didn't know you were doing the link then, but you were. Thank you. So let's say actually that one's no good. We want to go back to the previous one. So we just click the old deployment, and because it's integrated with GitHub, it can go back to other versions and other commits, and I can just say redeploy. It's going to say, are you sure? Yes. And it's simply going to redeploy that old version.
Brilliant.
And so I can roll back the changes effectively. So we just wait for a second whilst that happens. To go back in.
Yep.
Okay, so that deployment's happening. It took a minute or two. We can see that we've got, if we look at our two deployments, the removed published profile is now the active one, which is our original one.
Yep.
Bandstand is now inactive. If we go back to the site, we can see that's refreshed, and we can see we are now, all is well in the world, and we are now only going to Birmingham, not Droitwich Spa.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so it's cool. So we've deployed originally from source control from GitHub. We've made a commit, an update to GitHub so that we've changed the location. That's automatically deployed.
Yep.
And then we've reverted back when you complained about it because you didn't want to go to the Droitwich
I don't
bandstand.
know.
Okay, so that's cool. So that's deployment and source integration. Another feature I want to talk about is a thing called deployment slots.
Okay.
So this is quite a neat feature where one of the problems with doing what we've just done is you have to kind of wait for deployment to happen, it times out, the website goes down whilst it's being deployed. What deployment slots does is it lets you have multiple versions or instances of the site.
Yep.
So the idea is you could have a production deployment slot, a beta one, and you can queue up changes and switch them in very efficiently.
So what it means is that your main live site, whatever that be, whether in our instance MS Web Days or fib or .azurewebsites.net, will always respond.
Yeah.
And even though when you instigate a deployment swap,
Yeah.
it does take 20 seconds before it's actually active.
Yeah.
But during that 20 seconds, your site never goes down.
No, it doesn't.
So I think it's a really like a split few milliseconds when the website switches.
I think it uses DNS. I think so. It does like a DNS swap. Or
Well, I don't think it's DNS.
I think what routing or something.
Yeah, I think ultimately behind under the thing, it's using software routing. So it routes all the requests over to the new deployment slot from the old deployment slot, but it happens instantaneous.
Yeah.
It takes a few, when you instigate one, it'll take like 20 seconds or so for it to actually do the swap, but
it keeps the site
the site's live all that time, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden the site will just
because when you've got deployment slots, all of the slots are live all the time. It's just the traffic's not going to them.
And they have individual websites as well, URLs which you can go to that specific slot if you wish.
So let's create a slot let's create a beta slot. So I'm
Great if you want to warm up a site before you put it live.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the site takes a little bit of time to warm up and start up and get going.
Yeah.
You can get it started up in the deployment, deploy it, go to the URL and then switch it, right?
Yeah, cool. So what we're doing here is we can create a new slot called beta. I'm going to clone my configuration from my existing one.
Okay.
And that's going to basically create that deployment slot. So this will be effectively a new empty web application.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll have a URL of fibble-beta.azurewebsites.net.
Yep.
So that seems to have been created already. If we go to that, we can see there's the URL. I'm going to just load that into the browser so we can see. And this will be basically a blank website again because we haven't deployed anything. So we've got, so I'll just zoom in so you can see that. So the URL is fibble-beta.azurewebsites.net, and then the main one is just fibble.azurewebsites.net.
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make another change. So let's say for argument's sake that, so you know the button here, that grey button, it's a bit of a boring colour.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would work better if it was pink, because the website's kind of got pink colours, so maybe that'll stand out. And this is the sort of thing you can use deployment slots for. If you want to test a new feature, do split testing, that kind of thing. It's great for doing that. So let's just go into the code here and just, like any good developer, I'm just going to put a style tag just right there inside the HTML. Background colour. I'm going to make that magenta.
Hot pink.
Yeah, hot pink.
No.
Is that a thing?
Hot pink's a thing, yeah.
Is that a thing? I can actually type in hot pink. Okay, let's do that.
You can, yeah. The best one.
Okay, so that's a change there. So I'm going to show, as part of this as well, a third way to deploy things. So this time I'm going to deploy directly from Visual Studio. I'm just going to right-click and publish. What
you probably would do, though, would be maybe put this into a different branch.
Yeah, so sure. Yeah, that if you were sort of a professional, that's what you'd do. But I wanted to show the 3 ways of publishing. So I'm going to choose App Service.
Yep.
It's going to log me into my Azure account. I've already got the credentials in here, and there is Fibble. And if I go to deployment slots, we should see, there's beta, there's my deployment slot.
Oh, okay.
So I'm simply going to select that, click OK, and click Publish. Oh, sorry. So that's pulled in all of the details from Azure, so all of the passwords, the URLs, all the things that Visual Studio needs to know to deploy to this. I'm just going to click Publish, and it will now deploy directly from Visual Studio.
Awesome.
So this is cool even if you can't even be bothered to commit to source control. So if you just want to be that hardcore that you just want to deploy directly from Visual Studio, you can do it.
Okay, cool.
So let's wait for that to run just for a second. Okay, so that deployment's finished. It's loaded up the site. I don't want IE, I want to use Edge, of course I do. So let's go over to Edge and just do a refresh there. And we'll see that we've got a version of our website with a nice hot pink button. Look at that.
Oh, hot pink, that's good.
That's awesome. And it's also still in Droitwich as well. It's managed to find its way back in.
Oh yeah,
because
very good.
that's the latest version of the code, yeah. So we've got 2 versions of the site, the beta one with Droitwich and the pink button, and the production one with Birmingham and the grey button.
Right.
So let's say that actually this is the version of the site we want. So I'm going to get Droitwich back into the main page. It's going to go back into production. All we need to do to make that happen is go into our deployment slot. I'm already in the beta deployment slot, and just click swap. And all it's going to do is it's going to do that thing we were just talking about, where it's going to switch over the traffic. Oh, I need to choose how I want to swap, so I click OK. And it's going to swap the slots so that the beta one becomes the main production one. And
If you go to the main site, it's saying a swap is in progress at the moment inside of Azure. If you go to your main site, so which is over here.
Yeah, in the browser,
yeah. What I want to show is if you press refresh now.
Well, the swap might have already happened by now. And it hasn't.
No,
the site's still
live. Still live. And that's an important part of it, is that all the time a swap's in progress, your site is still live.
Yeah, it doesn't go down.
And it's just at the point where, if you go back to your dashboard, eventually that yellow banner, orange banner will disappear. Your swap will have been completed, and the website will then redirect now to the other website. So we'll get our hot pink button. It takes about 20 seconds, I found.
Okay. It's taking more than 20 seconds here, but that's probably because you've said it takes 20 seconds. It's probably going to take 35 seconds.
I'll time it.
But yeah, the point is that the site.
There we go.
Okay,
yeah,
swaps. Okay,
so about 30 seconds.
35, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So there we go. So and this is on our main URL, fibble.azurewebsites.net, and we've got the pink button, we've got the Droitwich Spa bandstand, and if we go to our beta one and just refresh that, that will have the grey button. So it's swapped the 2 websites around here, and you can have, I think you can have up to 10 deployment slots.
Yeah.
Which you can have things deployed to. So it's great for split testing. It's great for all that kind of stuff. And that's all I wanted to show you today. So that's the point. There we go.
It just took a while. It's weird, but it's quite good because you can both those sites keep live, and then you hot swap them to achieve what you want to do. That's cool. Next week, Webpack Wednesdays, we're going to look at the same subject, but we're going to see how we can do it through command line rather than maybe using the portal. So join us next week, next Wednesday, for another web topic, which will be deployment slots using Azure command line interface.